Hello everyone, this is Pimpio aka Ultra Simon, and today I'm going to be doing a shoutcast on this game of DoWpro between Yaoquizque in the right corner as Eldar and Hallbregg as Tal in the left corner. Now here, just looking quickly at openings, by the way, I believe this is the first time I've ever done Tal in a shoutcast, so I hope for all you Tal fans out there, if there's any left after the remnants and beauty of the Soulstorm and Dark Crusade Tal that left many a fan. If there is any left, you will definitely get a kick out of this. Now, looking at the Tal's build, he's gone for a 2x Pathfinder and Fire Warrior build. The reason for that is because you can go 3x Pathfinder. I normally like to go 3x Pathfinder. And it seems he has gone 3x Pathfinder. I didn't notice that. Normally you go 3x Pathfinder just because Pathfinders, even early on in the game, being a scout unit, they deal a lot of damage. So a lot of players tend to go with 3x Pathfinder just because the Pathfinders can immediately swap and comprise the bulk damage of your force if you've got, say, something like Fire Warriors out the front. Pardon me. Going to the Eldar, he's gone for a 3x Ranger squad build. I know this because I VOD'd this about, 4 minutes ago, before someone walked in and started making a lot of noise asking where their clothes had been put, which I said try your draw. That ended that quite quick, but anyway, so sorry. The Eldar has gone with a Farseer and 3x Ranger build. Now the Rangers, it's an unconventional build. Great build because you can take a lot of map, but the reason Rangers deal a lot of damage and they're very mobile and cheap, and they're only 1 pop. However, they are incredibly fragile, and here the Farseer is going to mind war this drone. The reason for that is, well, drones aren't cheap. They cost 90 to 100 rec depending on the race, and if you lose them, it's well, you kind of need them straight off the bat because you got to quickly build all these buildings, cap all these points, listening posts left, right, and center, and of course, yeah, they cost about 100 rec. That's the price of Fatal, a Pathfinder squad or team. So he's using that mind war rather than on a commander because A, he can't see a commander, and B, by the time he actually engages the commander, he's presuming he's gonna have the mind war is no longer going to be on cooldown. So a little bit of engagement. He's not going to do anything. Farseer could go on range stance, but of course he would have to jolt back and forth to actually get off any shots. He's not going to do anything. Is he going to get hit by the Snar Trap? And he turns around at the last second, the Farseer saying, oh, this isn't a good idea, and running away. And in the meanwhile, he bought enough time for this Ranger squad to decap. It seems the Eldar has produced a Dark Reaper squad, and just looking, and the Tower has produced a Kroot squad. I know that much because this is as far as I got through the replay last time before I had to restart it. So Dark Reaper squad been a great choice because the Eldar the Tal is open with a Fire Warriors squad. Fire Warriors, Dark Reapers, hard countering Fire Warriors, and of course getting off a couple of shots on this Farseer. Farseer is down about quarter of health. I like to think it this way: if you've got a range commander like Force Commander, Tal Commander, and you've got a ratio of 4 health to 4 to 3 health compared to the close combat hero, then that's about even. Any less than that for the close combat, or likewise, then yeah, vice versa is winning. Simply because a close combat hero will lose that much health running in, but from then on will just rip up. So here, just we've got a bit of a face-off. The Elder player opened up with a minefield here, primarily to stop harassment, but it's now working in his favour. Simply because this Kroot squad cannot tie up that Dark Reaper squad. And although Dark Reapers do no damage to it, the 3x Ranger that he's got here does deal with light armoured infantry, such as Kroot and Pathfinders. So although they'll die really easily, if you've got this very strong unit at the front that's a bit of a defensive unit, such as the Dark Reaper squad and the Farseer, of course, then the Rangers can just stand back and take pot shots and run back, take pot shots, run back. Hit and run tactics, really. You can't just stick around with Rangers because they just really do die. So now he's got 4, so that means he's got his Soul Shrine up, and looking at, okay, he's not doing anything yet, and the Tower's produced another Kroot squad, which is interesting, because normally they'll go for another Fire Warrior squad, but it seems like he's seen this Dark Reaper squad, and he's imagining, well, that's his aspect choice. It's 3 pop that he's invested into Dark Reapers. Perhaps he will imagine that I'll go for a another Dark Reaper squad. But what he's not taking into consideration is it's not the Dark Reapers that are going to be doing all the damage. No, it's the Rangers and now the newly added Warp Spider squad. So looking at this, the Eldars can kind of try and push up this flank, but there's an LP2 here and a Kroot squad, and the Tal's doing the exact opposite on the other side. If I had to put my money on one of them destroying, if they had tried to go for a base trade, I would put my money on the Tal, simply because they do a lot more damage to buildings. Eldar does field a couple of units that do ridiculous damage to buildings, such as Fire Dragons and Banshees, Hell and Banshees. However, the Eldar hasn't gone for them. He's gone for a more defensive build. Thus, Eldar fundamentally as a race, kind of a racial trait, cannot do that much damage to buildings. So, Eldar hasn't gone T2 yet, I don't think. And just looking at Eco, Tal is on 100 Eco compared to 83. But I think this Pathfinder squad is going to go down, which will definitely work in Eldar's favor. Oh, and it gets away with one drone. Oh, will this get away? Oh, what's he doing? No, he's retreating this squad, but he's just letting this path. Oh, he was probably hoping he could cut that crit to get a bit more money. But looking at crits, the Tower's got 1 crit, and the Elder's got 1 crit, which is interesting because he's about to get 2 crits, which might equal out the economy. The reason he's got less economy is probably because he doesn't have the strategic point here. And what was a bit of a late... One of the squads, as soon as you upgrade a drone on the Pathfinder squad, you can, and once you got Path to Enlightenment, then you can then start marking squads, which increases the damage that's done to that squad. But I believe he probably used that ability in hopes that the Warp Spider squad would teleport in. Of course he didn't. He walked away, but it's okay. By the time they engage, probably, the next time, it'll probably be off cooldown, so you can use it again. So anyway, looking at what the army, each other's doing. Okay, Elder's finally gone T2. Tal hasn't yet. Tal's building another Fire Warrior squad, so that will bring them to 2 Kroot squads and 2 Fire Warrior squads. It's interesting kind of army, because normally what Tal does is for them to tech, they have to invest in 2 to 3 squads of either Kroot or Fire Warriors. Although it's encouraged that they mix as much as possible, normally it's easier just to tech whilst getting 2 of these units and trying to balance it off with Pathfinders and a Force Command, Tal Command. And here we've got an engagement. The Kroot running ahead, trying to engage. They're engaging the Warp Spiders rather than engaging these Dark Reapers. This is a bit of a problem, and great defensive Psystorm there. But that Ranger squad's just sitting there getting pummeled by that Tal Commander. The Kroot Carnivore squads are going to run back because they don't want to die, and they don't want to run over that mine that they remember is there. The Farseer are running away with quite a lot of health left, and Tal Commander too, full health. Elder didn't lose any... Tal didn't lose any squads. However, I believe the Eldar lost one of their Ranger squads. However, Eldar is now beaten T2, got the Seer Council on the field. That will help. At the moment, the Eldar has got the problem that although they went for this primarily damage-orientated army with the Dark Reapers and the Rangers, they can't actually do any damage because these Kroot just run forward. They do a lot of damage to the Kroot, but they can't kill them. So they just end up engaging, which pushes them back. And Tal can keep doing this until they finally keep pushing points. So that's the general idea with the Tal plan. He's not actually looking to kill, he's just looking to reduce the eco, which is, well, now looking at the economy, Eldar is 100, and he teleports in, but now the Tal has got Feral Leap upgraded, so these Kroot can get into close combat a lot faster without dying. However, the plan of the Eldar has got the Seer Council at the front, which can just soak up an enormous amount of damage. Not so much early game, being a very expensive unit, but late game, they definitely pay off with all their concealed stacking abilities and upgrades. Looking at what we've got here, Tal has gone T2 with Modkar. Modkar being the Fire Warrior kind of stream. This Warp Spider squad running out the front, I don't know what he was doing there. However, this Kroot squad probably won't go down. He's going to have to retreat. The Seer Council losing 1 member, which being, 90/30. Pretty expensive. No Dark Reapers lost, but a whole Warp Spider squad lost. That's going to hurt. He's got this kind of Ranger squad running around just thinking, what should I do next? I'd probably recommend whizzing around to here whilst infiltrated and taking down this critical and increasing his eco. But just looking at eco again, 110 and 50 and 5 generators to 3 generators and 106. So the Eldar's up front, and the Eldar's going for a support portal, and he's going straight for Falcons. Now, I think the reason for this is he's probably thinking, well, I went with this really strong damage-orientated army. What's happening is every time I engage him, either A, I lose a unit in the efforts to actually do any damage to him, or B, he pushes me back. So what I need is something that will, as soon as I push back, I can retreat all my infantry units, and that something can just stay there and kind of be kind of the fallback point that I want to be able to push from. It's kind of like I'm not moving from this spot. So he's going for a falcon because what's going to happen is, because this is the Tail's got a complete anti-infantry army, that falcon's just going to be able to sit there. It doesn't have to move. It can just keep shooting. So what's going to happen is, not only is it going to cause a massive distraction for anyone, and here we go, nothing much happening here, but here we got a battle going. I'll get back to the falcon thing in a sec. He casts a great Psystorm. That's forcing the crit to kind of move backwards. They've already been hit by the blunt of the Psystorm. Oh, and he breaks a squad. Psystorm does a lot of morale damage. The longer you stay in it, it stops doing damage and just does a little bit more morale damage towards the end of the Psystorm's kind of time of effect. So if you stand in it, your squad isn't going to obliterate. However, they will break. And what's happened is, not only did they break, but they were hit by the Seer Council or so, which does a lot. And he teleports in. He wants to take out this Pathfinder squad. Is he going to knock it off? Oh, the Pathfinder squad just... Oh, God. That's the second time a Pathfinder squad has escaped with just, like, 2 health on them. That's great, because he can continue capping points now. Now, the Tail's gone for a Devilfish, which is interesting, because he's gone completely anti-infantry. Devilfish can deal with a very light vehicle, such as a Viper, but the Eldar has completely skipped Vipers and gone straight for a Falcon. Now, here we've just got the Ranger squad taking pot shot. He's still got on Fleet of Foot. He might have got a kill if he had taken Fleet of Foot off. But yeah, so the idea with this Falcon is he just wants it to be able to stand there so he doesn't have to move, so he doesn't have to keep falling back. So what he can do is, the Falcon will be auto-targeted at certain points. But looking at the army, here we've got an engagement, the Devil Ship jumping in and releasing this Kroot to try and tie up any units that pop out of that Falcon. But the Falcon also jumps back, and those Kroot are forced to jump back in, suffering a lot of damage from these 2 Warpspire squads. But this Farseer might drop. No, he doesn't. They're well played by the Eldar there, and also by the Tail with that jump and retreating those Kroot squads into that Devilfish before it's too late. Second Devilfish coming. The Tail is really going for a mobile force where he can defend. What's he doing? He's trying to stop those troops from going back, saying, "No, stand, you shall fight." And here we got a second Falcon coming out. Sorry, just trying to get an idea of what the Tail and Eldar are getting up to. I might have a look at Tail's base. Still Monte Carlo. Oh, going a vehicle beacon. The Tail Commander has gone for a fusion gun being anti-vehicle, which is his idea of counting the Falcon Grav Tank. However, although the Tail Commander will definitely be able to take out the Falcons if it just targets them over like if they have a huge battle, and I would imagine if they have a huge battle, given how much mobility there is contained within both forces, the battle will go for a while. So that the Tail Commander can just keep... I keep saying Force Commander. The Tail Commander can keep just... Oh, he jumps in, but perhaps a second too late, because that Pathfinder squad already started falling back. But I don't know what's happened here. Maybe he had jumped one of these. One Warp Spire had been jumped earlier on, and the other one hadn't. Either that, or when he clicked to teleport just there to teleport them out, what he might have done is, given the circle is the maximum, not the minimum that you can teleport. As in, if you take both squads, and it's like the maximum that either one of the squads can teleport, not both of them. So what he's done is he's teleported as far away as possible, but this Warpspire squad being further away hasn't teleported the Warpspire squad that was furthest away because it's out of range, and he's just kind of left it there and lost a couple of numbers. Not too bad though, it's just a couple of hundred wreck, And the Tail is trying to I think this Fire Dragon squad just sitting there is going to go down. I was going to say, the Tail is trying to catch Eldar's bluff and go around the opposite way. The Eldar has played really well up until now, where he's kind of predicted and been the one leading all the battles. But now that Tail has got these 2 Devilfish, he's got an enormous amount of mobility, and he can just kind of jump around. But these Kroot squads, they've gone too far forward. He might lose one of these Kroot squads now. This Kroot, will they get away again? Oh, I don't think he is. He should run. Oh, something hits it. I think the Falcon... one of the Falcon's shots hit it, or a Ranger or something. So losing one of the Kroot squads, jumping back in, and the Seer Council hit by a Snar, but he's not going to try and capitalise this. But all these drones running around trying to heal these Devilfish, It's a bit clumsy because he's got 3 here. There's really no point in having 3. And 1 dropping, that's 100 wreck just gone down the drain completely needlessly. But this Ranger squad is also going to fall to this Pathfinder squad 3-1, definitely, unless he retreats it, which he's not if I look at my screen. But here we go, good battle. Storm going down. Oh, and Justin, he pops it. The Devilfish. There's Fire Warriors jump back into the Devilfish. No damage done to those Fire Warrior squads. The Elder's going to move in with these Fire Dragons and try and take out... No, there isn't any mines there. That's a bug. There we go. There it goes. And LP2 down. He's got this grab platform kind of running around. Grav platforms and heroes and whatnot cannot attach to Dark Reapers. It's one of our most recent changes. It just means that it kind of forces you not to mass Reapers. Reapers been such an efficient unit, very defensive early game, but late game with upgrades been fantastic at just about everything. So we kind of had to do that little nerf where, yeah, Grav platforms cannot attach to Dark Reapers, kind of forcing you that if you want them, they can either A, walk around on their lonesome and be kind of slow and stuff, or B, you can produce another unit, which isn't really that difficult. Yeah, I know everyone loves spamming Dark Reapers, I do too, but occasionally it's nice to mix a different unit in, you know. So here the Eldar, or the Tal, has gone for a Crit Shaper. Crit Shaper being a hero, a secondary hero, and incredibly tanky. He will just stay in combat and he just won't die. You've, like, many times I've had an Eldar army or just a Space Marine army even, and this Crit Shaper has just sat there in my forces with me targeting everything on him. And unless you got a close combat unit or troop that deals a lot of damage, it's really hard to take him out. So the Tal has predicted that the Elder's going to swing around to the other side, or maybe he just saw this Pathfinder squad. This Pathfinder squad, I'm not sure what he's doing. He doesn't have a railgun anywhere, but he has, on the bright side, he has forced the Warp Spires to use both their teleports. So now if he wants to engage, he can. And oh, the Tal has produced a Hammerhead gunship. Great choice, but he's ran these. No, what is he doing? Unload. Use the unload button. Oh god, that was needless. Completely needless. He's got a whole Fire Dragon squad targeting both Devilfish and both explode. I think he might... Tal could potentially... I don't know. Oh, he's standing up with that fast here and Sears Council in the middle of the Tal's range army. I don't think there's much he can do. And there goes the morale of the Fire Warrior squad from the damage of the Farseer, or the little swings. This Tal Commander jumping on the other side. I'm not quite sure what he's doing. I think he really wants to target those Falcons. All these squads dying to the Dark Reapers. He finally ties up the Dark Reapers with the Crit squad, but that Hammerhead is still just going to keep firing. It's not too bad for the Tal, even though it's badly played. I think just Tal's army in general is just fantastic. This Tal Commander taking a lot of damage from this LP2, completely needless. He should turn around and start firing at something. There we go, he finally targets something. I would personally, with that, knowing that Tal Commander's got both a missile launcher and, Mind War on the Tal Commander whilst being under damage still at the LP2. A lot of damage. He turns on his speed upgrade. He's just going to run out. That's a War Gear upgrade, but he goes there. Full blaze. Go on, get it. He's dead. Oh, no, he's not dead. He jumps out. And, what was that bright light? I don't know what that bright... Oh, maybe activated the shield drone off. That looked like the light that happens when your commander dies. I'm like, no, commander isn't dead. He's right there. Great save by the Tal, though, with the Tal Commander. However, looking at Tal, he lost a lot of troops there because of his bad placement of those Devilfish. He really wasn't paying attention, either that or he panicked and he didn't hit the right micro keys. He should have just unloaded, but or perhaps there is a bug where if you actually click the units to unload in Soulstorm, they won't actually unload. They'll kind of just, like, almost as if they spontaneously decide, hey, I'm going to jump back in, I don't want to go out there, it's cold. So and then what happens is you got to wait for them to, the cooldown of the unload. That has to be done though, because if there's no cooldown, then you can just jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. Everyone remembers Dark Crusade Heavy Bolter Space Marines with the Rhinos. So you can't do that. So, but if you use the unload hotkey and actually select a location, then it will never falter. It will always unload properly. The other problem is that sometimes if you lag, it's very difficult to do that. Anyway, so the Elder player is running out the side. He's still got an army that comprises of 2 times the 2 critical aspect warriors, being Warp Spiders and Dark Reapers. Hard counter to heavy infantry and hard counter to light infantry. And out the front, he's still got this Sears Council, which has probably got numerous upgrades by now, so it's very hard to kill. Probably has a lot of War Gear upgrades. Right here I can see there's a singing, I think it's a singing spear on the Farseer, meaning he's at least got the first damage upgrade for close combat. However, this the Tal has got a Devilfish, a Skyray, and a Hammerhead out. The Skyray is going to be very useful because once you upgrade the missile bombardment upgrade... Oh, but on the other side, there's Fire Dragon squad going for a harassment. He's gets down an LP2, and if nothing comes to stop him, he'll probably just be able to keep destroying the Tal's base. The Elder falling back, knowing that he's got the Tal in a strategical clamp, and that if the Tal decides to go defend, it can keep pushing up this flank. If he doesn't, he can keep pushing into the base and destroying stuff. If this Path to Enlightenment goes down, that means no heavy weapons or upgrades for the Tal. Though that might not be too much of an issue, knowing that the Tal hasn't gone for any units that really need upgrades, such as stealth suits. But popping down, there isn't really anything he can do. He can't really stun, but still, that Hammerhead doing a lot of damage. This guy, Hammerhead's chasing the Falcon. The Falcon is just going to sit there. What is he doing? He's got a Fire Dragon squad in there. If he popped it out now, he could probably do a lot of damage to that Hammerhead. But now he's going to run away. And the Sky Ray trying to get some last shots. Oh, just a second too late. The Eldar isn't defending, which is curious. So this Tal's just going to push up here. Look at the Eldar's army. He's going for another Falcon. He's got his second HQ out. So eco-wise, 103 to 104. Quite even. Probably because he just lost this point. But the Tal also just lost this point. So, I don't quite understand why the Elder player doesn't have an enormous economy advantage. Tal's got 2 critical locations, Elder's got 2 critical locations, and look, the Avatar has jumped on the field. This is quite, I would almost call that a rush, because the Avatar's incredibly expensive, something like almost 1,000, it's about 700 rec and 700 power, so incredibly expensive, huge investment. This Sears Council still on fleet of foot. I don't know what he's doing. He should really turn fleet of foot off. Close combat damage, close combat units do suffer from fleet of foot penalties. So, and oh no, that well-placed mine, completely unintentional, but still a well-placed mine, doing lots of damage. That Warspire squad just happily sitting there. He knows he can teleport out if he needs to. But this Farseer is probably going to go down. The Hammerhead's decided of all targets in that unit to target. He's going to target the Farseer. Will he take it out? Farseer's going to get out. And something hits it. Probably like a shotgun shot from the Crook Carnivore. Completely, utterly random. I don't think it was the Hammerhead, but the Sears Council doesn't completely go down. One member on that much health got away. Oh no, and that other one. But Farseer going down. He's going to have to rebuild the Farseer who he is. 235/90 isn't too much for the Farseer, knowing how much he can tank, as you can see. But this Avatar out, the thing that's kind of puzzling me is that this Avatar for the last, minute has just sat there during the whole course of that battle. The Tal has no idea that's out in the field by this stage because he hasn't seen any of the Elders' buildings, or mainly probably because they're cloaked, but he hasn't seen any of the buildings, so he has absolutely no idea that this Avatar's out, and he's just going to continue building. He's got a second Hammerhead on the second Hammerhead on the field. Great choice of if he's going to add to his army, add that, because Hammerhead will really help deal with anything that the Elders produced at this stage. But the Elders get counter push up this side. This Fire Warrior squad's just going to sit there completely obliterated by these 2 Dark Reaper squads that incidentally hard counter the Fire Warriors, and these 3 Falcons, all with Bright Lances, I believe. Bright Lance, all just going to push in. He's going to go for a base trade. Tal going up here, but the Avatar here, the Avatar targeting the Devilfish right now. The Devilfish is going to go down with all those troops. Troops pop out. What Tal really needs to do now is just stay out of close combat with that Avatar. Reason for that is the Avatar gets all close combat units get somewhat of a conceal bonus whilst in close combat. So he's actually suffering less damage than he normally would if they just dance. And there we go, an animation. There we go. He's still in the animation. Oh, poor Kroot. And he just bounces as Kroot do, the rubbery fiends. And so the Elder is definitely ahead in the base trade, and not only that, but it's Elder. He's got 3 builders. He's going to start building. He's going to try and warp in all of his buildings into this base as a base trade, which really Tal shouldn't be doing this, because I do understand that he didn't know there was an Avatar there. However, he still should have retreated and just defended, because the Tal does have a stronger army at this point, just ignoring that Avatar, which really wasn't doing anything except just kind of standing there. So he probably should have just defended and taken out this army, because these Falcons, although pretty daunting, those 2 Hammerheads, I can guarantee you, would do a shit ton more damage than those Falcons could ever hope to do. So the Tal army probably would have won just simply because of this Tal commander being fully upgraded almost. Perhaps not their final set of war gear. However, fully upgraded weapons and whatnot is enough to scare anyone with that Tal commander. Not only that, but having 2 squads of Fire Warriors and 2 Hammerheads and a Sky Ray just to disrupt that Elder army. and of course a Crook Carnivore squad just to tie him up too. So he really should have just gone back and defended. Now he's in this situation where, there we go, the Eldar is warping in his buildings from his base over to here. This, I would imagine, the Tal's rebuilding here, but I think the Tal's lost this. Mistakes the Tal made. I know it's not over yet, but I can almost go. Yeah, there we go. And Soul Shrine's going to go over too. So he rescues a webway, support portal, 2 generators. Yeah, compared to what, a nearly constructed HQ. Yeah, there goes the vehicle bay. Collation Center. He never built an ethereal. If he had built an ethereal and just defended, I reckon this game would have been Tal's. Simply because the Eldar was pushing very aggressively, and the ethereal, the hammerheads could have taken out those falcons, preventing the Eldar from being able to run away. And then they could have just had, as soon as those falcons taken out, the ethereal could have just landed one of his moonbeams, and yeah, the Tal would have completely obliterated the Eldar army. However, he didn't do that. Instead, he's gone for the base trade, which is any other race, and it would have been fine. But being Eldar's got an advantage now, so I'm going to presume that Eldar's going to win this. Also, looking at the Eldar army, it's quite fantastic. The only thing that the Tal has still got on the Eldar is that Eldar doesn't have any fire prisms, whereas Eldar has 2 hammerheads. What, did I just say Tal doesn't have any fire prisms? Eldar doesn't have any fire prisms. Tal has 2 hammerheads. So this building's going to go down, but barracks going down here. Tal might be able to pester on if he retreats and just defends and pushes up here, knowing that the Eldar army is just over here. He could do that, but it doesn't seem like he's going to do that. I think perhaps the Tal has given up by now. Anyway, mistakes that they made. I'm just going to sip my cup of tea that has cemented itself to my desk. Mistakes that the Tal made were simply that devilfish thing, where the devilfish jumped in and it blew up, and he lost half his force completely near this. Because by that stage, the Eldar had made a lot of mistakes. He was playing tactically brilliantly and strategically brilliantly. However, his choice of army perhaps was probably the strategical asset that he probably required to completely counter the Tal army, which he didn't really fulfill. Simply because he went with Dark Reaper, 3 times Ranger, and then a Warp Spider squad. I disagree with the Warp Spider squad. I kind of agree with it because it's a great squad for actually doing damage. He probably felt that the Dark Reapers weren't killing anything, so he wasn't actually making any progress and that he was going to lose out. However, 2 times Dark Reaper, he could have just slowly pushed his way up. He didn't have to kill the Tal army. He could have just pushed up, and with his economy advantage that he had, and with the ranges that he had, he could have just run around, capped all the critical points. Another thing, neither player attempted to take down the critical locations on either side of the middle map. Normally I target those points because it's like, oh wow, that's down, what? I thought I capped that. And you don't notice it because it's in the middle of your ranks, but if you've got an infiltrated squad, it doesn't pop up in the mini-map, and no one even notices. And you can just, like, if I was a Tal and this went down, it could be down for 10 minutes, and I wouldn't notice. And here we go. The Eldar making a great choice in adding vehicles. Rather than going for Fire Prisms, he's gone for Vipers, which are very fast. He's upgraded them with missile launchers so that they do a tremendous amount of damage. This poor Fire Warrior squad popping out. He's going to go down. He's rebuilt the HQ over here. The Eldar army is just going to stay here. The Tal army is going to stay here and defend this time, but the Eldar army is just going to retreat because he knows that he's now got all these points, got a huge economy advantage. Well, not huge, but he will soon. Building a second HQ even, just to kind of rub it in, the Tal. And he can just sit here with this advantage, and it will accumulate, and it will snowball, and the Eldar can't lose if he just... rather than push and risk, the small chance that the Tal might play, well, a brilliant game if he engages the... If the Eldar engages the Tal, because he does have these 2 hammerheads, and these 2 hammerheads are kind of the ace up the sleeve. They can do an enormous amount of damage if micro properly, and the Hallbregg, although he made that blunder with the Devilfish, has definitely displayed that he can micro very efficiently. His Tal army, he definitely knows how to use it. So the Eldar's not going to take the risk, and he's just going to sit back and he's just going to play the waiting game. It's not much of a waiting game. Looking at the little bar, there's maybe 2 minutes left in this game before the Eldar engage him and finish this game. So I'll quickly use this time since the game's over just to talk about what they did wrong. So I think the Eldar could have just gone with another Dark Reaper squad and just slowly pushed all the LPs and got a resource advantage. From there, I think the Sears Council is definitely a good choice. However, I don't think Guardians would have helped all that much. However, 3 Guardian squads or 2 Guardian squads, each with grenades and their fleet of foot upgraded, could have done the same as the Farseer and the Sears Council, only dealt damage at the same time, because they would have tanked. Been Guardians in T2, the more that the Guardian squad stays in the game, the more upgrades you get for it, which incidentally are the same upgrades almost as that you get for the Sears Council, make them very, very, very tanky. So if he'd just gone for the Guardians, he could have had the Haywire grenades and the Entangle, and he would have probably dealt a lot more damage at the same time as tanking, and he already had the Dark Reapers to tank and the Farseer, so I don't think he really needed the Sears Council, though it wasn't a bad choice. It was just, I think he could have made a better choice. He never went with Harlequin. I would have gone with Harlequin just because, as Eldar, I would have gone with Harlequin just because there were so many infantry squads on the field, but he probably felt unsure. No one really uses Harlequin all that much. I don't know why. It's a brilliant unit, but everyone just kind of feels, well, we haven't seen Harlequin dominate all that much. Brilliant! Missile barrage goes down, but the Eldar runs back just in the nick of time, doing a little bit of damage. If he had aimed slightly back, that would have been fantastic. I don't know why the Tal's pushing in this case. I think he's just given up, and he's like, alright, I'm just going to be a man and make a last stand. So he's just going to keep pushing, but here, this is what I was talking about with the vehicles, just sitting at the front and soaking up the damage. Tal never made any real dedicated anti-vehicle until he got the Hammerhead and the Sky Ray. So this is what Eldar could have done. Just sat there and used the Dark Reaper's range just to stand behind them so that any auto attacks won't hit them. And if the Tal decided to actually focus fire those Dark Reapers, it would mean that he would have to move closer and he wouldn't be getting the benefits of attack move, which is that every unit moves just within range, so thus maximizing or minimizing your losses from ranged combat. But he's just slowly moved up, and the Tal's done exactly, the Eldar's done exactly what he should have done earlier, and he's just sat back and said, hey, I'm not moving. And even if the Tal had some Kroot and jumped in, he could have just moved back and let that Falcon just keep targeting those Kroot, whittle them down, and then just stop and fire as soon as the Kroot are far away from the Fire Warriors, and don't have the benefits of the Fire Warriors covering them and doing the damage at the same time. And there's the GG. Tal gives up. Great game, guys. Really well played, as Yaoquizque kind of points out there. It was a fantastic game by Tal and Eldar, and we'll definitely be having Hallbregg in many more games, as well as Yaoquizque, simply because he can play just about any race, and he pulls off an entertaining game every time. So, great games, well played. Thanks everyone for listening, and look forward to our next VOD. Bye-bye.